We've got some breaking news that could have a major impact on the future of cars in America. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is making waves by revoking key emissions rules that were established by the Biden administration. This move is already sparking debate across the automotive industry and beyond. What does this mean for gasoline-powered vehicles? How will it affect future car prices, fuel standards, and regulations? In December 2023, the Biden administration's Department of Transportation, along with the Federal Highway Administration, introduced a rule aimed at measuring and reporting transportation-related greenhouse gas emissions. It was a significant step toward reducing carbon emissions and setting stricter regulations on vehicles running on fossil fuels. The ultimate goal: a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 and a path to achieving net zero emissions by 2050. A key element of Biden's climate agenda. This rule also placed pressure on state-level agencies to set targets for reducing carbon dioxide emissions from vehicles traveling on highways. Over time, these targets would have become increasingly stringent, leading to a gradual phase-out of gasoline-powered vehicles in favor of electric alternatives. But that's not happening anymore, at least not under Secretary Duffy's leadership. Sean Duffy's immediate action. The moment Sean Duffy took office, he wasted no time in revoking these emissions rules. In an official statement on January 29th, the Department of Transportation announced, "The rescission reflects the administration's commitment to unleashing American energy and eliminating unlawful regulatory burdens." That's a bold statement, but it's clear that Duffy and the new administration see these emissions regulations as unnecessary red tape rather than a step toward a cleaner future. Duffy also issued a directive regarding the Corporate Average Fuel Economy Program, which is managed by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. Over the years, these regulations have become stricter, pushing automakers toward electric vehicle, EV production at a faster rate. Duffy criticized these aggressive fuel economy standards, arguing that they were unrealistic and financially burdensome. He stated, "Artificially high fuel economy standards impose considerably large costs, rendering many new vehicle models unaffordable for the average American family and small business owner." Because of this, he directed NHTSA to immediately review and reconsider existing fuel economy standards. He even suggested rescinding or replacing them to align more closely with Trump-era policies, which were designed to reduce regulatory restrictions on automakers. Duffy is not only focused on fuel economy and emissions rules, he's also dismantling other programs that were put in place by the previous administration, including the controversial Racist Roads program. His stance is clear: policies should prioritize consumer choice, affordability, and economic growth over strict environmental regulations. But that's not all. Duffy and his team are also pushing to remove other regulations that have been criticized for restricting consumer freedom and increasing vehicle costs. These include kill switches in new vehicles, speed limiters that automatically restrict how fast a car can go, the power of the California Air Resources Board, CARB, to enforce emissions rules beyond California. The California waiver, in particular, has been a major point of contention. It allows California to set stricter emissions regulations than federal standards, which can impact policies in other states as well. Many believe this gives California too much control over nationwide vehicle regulations. So, what can we expect? Moving forward, here are a few key takeaways. Gasoline-powered vehicles aren't going anywhere, at least for now. The Biden administration had plans to phase them out, but that's been put on hold under Duffy's leadership. Fuel economy standards may become less strict. Automakers could get more flexibility, potentially making new vehicles more affordable. Regulations on speed limiters and kill switches might be removed. This could mean fewer government-mandated restrictions on how vehicles operate. California's influence on emissions rules could be reduced. If Duffy succeeds in revoking CARB's waiver, other states wouldn't have to follow California's stricter regulations. This is a major shift in transportation policy, and it's likely to be met with strong reactions from both sides. Environmentals. Groups will argue that these changes set back efforts to combat climate change, while supporters will say it's a win for affordability, consumer choice, and economic growth. One thing is certain, this is just the beginning. We'll be keeping a close eye on further developments, including how automakers respond, and whether any of these decisions face legal challenges.